Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lead Like You Mean It, people. Today, we're going to have a special session. We're going to talk about our upcoming the Confident Leaders Summit that Ash and I are holding next week. I'm Carla Coates, a leadership coach, and I'm going to introduce to you Miss Ash Rowe. Hey, did I pronounce your name? We've been together for a while. I always
Yeah.
ask people. Okay, perfect. Ash Rowe. Introduce you Ash Rowe. She is also a career and leadership coach, and she's going to share a little bit about herself and about our upcoming summit next week. Ash?
Yes. Hi, everyone. We are so excited to host this summit. Glad to have you all today with us. And we're going to bring in some speakers as well. So, to tell you a little bit about myself, I am a career and leadership coach. And I do help emerging leaders and mid career professionals reach their next level by enhancing their visibility and leadership presence. So, today's topic, we are going to talk all about confident leadership and about our summit, what it really looks like, what it requires, and how the summit is going to benefit you. So, just a little bit about the summit. It's a 3-day virtual leadership summit, which is bringing together 8 speakers, along with Carla and myself, who will be hosting the summit. And it's happening on February 18th, 19th, and 20th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So, who is the summit for? This is mainly for emerging leaders. This is for corporate professionals, mid-level managers. If you are eager to go into your next level, then this summit is for you. So, what you're going to gain from this is going to be attending these live sessions will give you access to actionable insights, advice, practical takeaways, and some free digital gifts as well. So do check out, and we'll definitely publish the links below as well. Carla, did I miss anything? Anything to
No,
add?
ma'am. Everything is on target.
Awesome. All right. So that's a little bit about the summit. Now, we do have some of our featured speakers who will be joining the live today as well. So we'll go ahead and bring in our featured speakers for today.
Today we have Miss Elaine Robinson Beatty. I tell you, the reason why Ash and I are here today is because of this wonderful woman. So last year, Ash and I were on Elaine's summit. We had a good time. She provided us with such professional care. And I have since, at that time, I called, I think Ash and we were chit chatting back and forth. And I said, hey, Ash, what if we held our own summit? And it's because I can't say enough. It's because of this woman. I've kept in contact with her, and she's a fabulous executive coach out of the greater Atlanta area. And she's going to talk about during our session next week. She's going to talk about beyond the burnout crisis. So, Miss Elaine, thank you. I say thank you, ma'am. I'll turn it over to you.
You are most welcome. I am so proud of you too. I can't stand it. Nothing makes me happier is to be able to provide a platform and then to watch people like take off. And that's what you all have done. And that's exciting. So thank you for the invitation. It is my pleasure to be here today.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it back over to you. Can you share a little bit about what you're going to talk about next week?
Absolutely. The talk is around burnout. It's called Beyond the Burnout Crisis. And you say, like, why beyond? What I am passionate about, what I continue to see is high performing leaders who are over functioning past their limits. I see leaders who are calling excellence overperforming. I see leaders who are stuck in isolation. And what happens is we look at we look at burnout and we think that that's the problem. But let me tell you, that is the symptom.
Yeah.
That is the symptom. We get stuck in burnout. I see leaders, circling They're afraid to tell people where they are. They're afraid to get support.
Yeah.
And they just keep working and working and working until they hit a crisis. And so my hope is that I can share some wisdom around this. Why do I do this? Because I'm talking to people who were just like my younger self. Back in the day when I absolutely remember my first position. I was given the position of management trainee of the Sheraton Hotel. I hit the ground running. I was going to be the best trainee they ever had. And I mean, I worked 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day because, you know, that first assignment was the big assignment. Mm-hmm. And I did not realize, but I had already started a rhythm that was unhealthy. And guess what? That rhythm continued for 8 to 10 years. I would work 6 days, pass out on the 7th, okay? And then get back up again. And what happened was, which is what happens to most of us, is that we hit bottom, right? We hit a bottom. My boss started, asking me, whoa, were you partying a little bit too much? And the answer was yes, because I was trying to numb, the pain that I was in. And quite frankly, we overwork and we work to the point where we are numbing the pain of not being promoted, or being promoted and not being prepared, where and I have seen it over and over. And so thank God I got a wake-up call, and I ended up, having a mentor and supervisors who were really paying attention and calling it out and saying, Elaine, you're not taking care of yourself. And so I want to say to the leaders who will be attending that it's important to recognize, first of all, the signs and the symptoms of burnout. And you can get beyond the crisis, but you cannot do alone. A coach will be helpful. That's what I did. And I couldn't believe it. It was almost in my 20th year that I hired a coach. And I said to myself, what took me so long? What took me so long? Having a supportive community. Again, we get to working, and we forget that we need a support system ourselves. We're so busy offering support that we forget and give ourselves permission to accept support. So I really want to talk to those men and women who are wanting to be promoted, wanting to go to the next level. And I want to, number one, shake you up, wake you up, and say, look, we cannot continue the way we've been. And I have to put myself in check as well, right? It's a lifelong practice that we have to get in to recognize that we can lead, and we can lead in a healthy way. I hope that when I'm finished speaking, that people will understand that it's important to lead well, to lead from a place of well-being for the individual and for the organization, and to lead wise, utilizing all of our resources. So it's important, again, to recognize that burnout is a symptom, and the real problem is leadership.
Yeah.
Is the leadership culture that we've created.
That's beautiful. So can you share, since you're an author, can you share how you would align your book with what you're going to present next week?
Yeah, I really believe that oftentimes we just are so focused on, the next level. And I was one of them, I driven to succeed there. And then you get frustrated because you don't make it.
Yeah.
Well, my book, Sis, You Earned It, is really written for women, because my goal and one of my dreams is to help women move up into the C-suite and move up to the highest levels of leadership, so that we can start affecting the cultures because quite frankly, the highest levels of leadership were never really made and built for women.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking to help to try to, even the playing field.
Yeah.
But it works for men and women. And it's really designed to set out the framework and the strategies that I know work. After 30 years in this business, working, hotels across the country, working internationally, right? There are some things that I've seen over the years that I know work, right? One is executive presence, making sure you have a support system, making sure that we not only have professional goals but we have personal goals, making sure that we have mentors. So there's certain, again, if you would, a framework that will help us to be successful and get to the next level. And not only get there, but stay there.
Yeah.
So I want people to get in that leadership seat and stay in the leadership seat in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my last question is: so you've spoken, I would say, all over the country. How often do you see burnout at each level of leadership?
Carla, every level. Unfortunately, our country is one that says, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? It's an American thing.
Yep.
And quite frankly, I'm saying that burnout is not a badge. Burnout is not a badge. And so when we have these cultures that are just promoting work,
Mm-hmm.
we have got to stop that. And so again, it starts at the very beginning. You come in and they give you these goals and these, these assignments that require you to work after hours, respond 24 hours. And I say no, right?
Yeah.
You have the ability to say no. So recognize that it starts early on and it can continue unless you get a hold of it.
All right. Thank you, Miss Elaine. Hopefully I'll be there in the month of June. Maybe we can have lunch or dinner together in the greater Atlanta area.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. I'm going to now turn it over to Ash. She's going to bring on Jesper.
Awesome. It was great to hear Elaine and her passion towards this topic called Beyond the Burnout Crisis. So I'm so excited to hear about Elaine's talk session. Thank you, Elaine. And now, happy to introduce our next speaker, Jesper McIntyre. Jesper is a leadership development and HR consultant who helps leaders build high-performing teams. He's a certified SBHR. He partners with business leaders to strengthen leadership and culture so that their organization can grow without the leader feeling trapped in burnout and overwhelm. So through his frameworks and assessment and leadership systems, Jesper provides strategies to turn overwhelmed teams into empowered leaders, unlocking clarity, performance, and sustainable growth. Welcome, Jesper, and we're so glad to have you with us today.
Ash and Carla, thank you for having me. Excited to join you today. And adding on to what Elaine said, it's such a great platform that you're organizing for leaders, especially for this event.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We are excited as well. And our intention is to bring together leadership coaches just like you, to add value to our audience. So glad that you are a part of it as well, Jesper. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're planning to talk during our summit.
Absolutely. So I am very, very excited to be speaking on a topic that I'm very excited about and very passionate about, and that's navigating the future of team leadership. And I want to share two scenarios. Let's call it Company A and Company B. So for Company A, imagine a team where they are not really listening to each other. They're not giving each other a chance to speak. Whenever a new idea is brought up, it's instantly turned down. Everyone's exhausted, everyone's overwhelmed, everyone's stressed out. Now, let's flip this over to Company B, where everyone is listening to each other. No one's interrupting each other. Everyone's getting the space to share what's on their mind. Creativity and innovation is flourishing. Now, I have the experience of working for Company A and Company B. Now the question is, which organization gets better results? And if you say Company B, the one with more creativity, innovation, listening, communication, that's correct. Company B does get better results. So with that said, for me, I have had the opportunity to be immersed in the academic side of leadership. And when I talk about navigating the future of team leadership, during my session, we'll be talking about the trends in leadership and the past, the present, how it looked like, and how it's evolving into the future so that we can be better prepared as leaders leading into the future. And for example, in our research, when we look at the different technologies and the different things that we've made progress on, there is a clear evolution of how it's looking. So, for example, the issues and problems that we've had in the past and inventions. For example, when we were cave people, what we had were spears, the wheel. Those were easy to develop back then. It took one or maybe two people. As we move forward in time to today, the airplane has been invented, the car has been invented, the train. It's becoming more complicated and complex for one person to build. And it takes a team to really make these things happen. And then as we move into the future, we're looking at artificial intelligence. We're looking at self-driving cars, automation. What this says is that all of our challenges are becoming more complex and more sophisticated for one person to solve on their own. Is it possible for one person to solve artificial intelligence in and of itself and everything about it? Possibly, but that could take forever and a long time. But when we lean on the support of other people, much more can get done. So when we look at the different technologies and inventions over time, what this means is that it's becoming all the more important to rely on a team to achieve the goals, the milestones, and KPIs that we're looking for as we lead into the future.
Awesome. Yeah, success does not happen in silos, and there is always power in community, right? Who should absolutely attend your talk?
Yes, the people who should absolutely attend this talk are the people who are either currently leading a team or preparing to lead a team. So a title is not important. It's the ability to manage other people and supervise others.
Awesome. All right. So you heard it from Jesper. So if you are leading people or if you're preparing to lead a team, then this conversation is an absolute must watch. So come and attend Jesper's session again during the summit that's happening next week. It's coming up soon. So thank you, Jesper, for sharing your thoughts and giving us a little sneak peek into what you would be covering in your session.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Ash and Carla.
Thank you. All right. Now on to our host herself, Carla. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Ash. So one thing I want to pick up what Jasper said about basically, you don't have to be in a leadership position to be a leader. There's one thing that came to my mind as he was speaking. And I share this particular story often. I'm not a basketball person, so I'm going to talk about basketball. I like football, but I always bring up LeBron James. When he was in Cleveland, he was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was not, of course, he wasn't the owner. He was not the coach. He was not any of the other coaches. He was a player. I believe he was a captain on the team. Somebody can correct me, but he had no authority over the team. But you know what? He said to the city of Cleveland that I'm going to get you guys a championship. He made that statement to them. And I thought, wow, that's bold. You're basically not even the owner. You're not a coach. You have no leadership authority from an organizational point of view. But along with his teammates, not just him, but along with his teammates, guess what? They were able to win a championship for the city of Cleveland. He stood by his word. And it just made me think of when Jasper was speaking, I said, that's so true. You don't have to be in a leadership role to be able to attend this summit. So I want to talk a little bit about what I'm going to speak about. Leadership requires limits and the power of no. It's amazing that when we're in a position that we think that, the organization, you still have a lot of responsibility over me. And we tend to lean over and give it to them. I coached someone a few years ago, and he had just accepted a high-level position. And he said, Carla, I don't want this new organization. He was so upset. I don't want this new organization to call me after 7:00. I said, okay. He said, no, you don't understand. Where I just came from, they used to call me after 7:00. That time is so precious. That's the time I sit and have dinner with my wife and my 2 boys. And I said, oh, okay, that's wonderful. And then he went on again. He said, you don't understand. This is like the prime time for our lives. We sit down after 7:00. I don't want this new organization to call me. I said, oh, okay. So when the former organization called you, who answered the phone? He said, oh, I did. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, when the organization called you, who answered the phone? He said, I did. I said, oh, okay. So when the organization called you, who answered the phone? By this time, he was gritting his teeth. He was not happy. 3rd time, Carla, give me a break. But then he paused and he said, you know what? It's my responsibility to take care of my family. It's not the organization's responsibility. That time, again, is very precious to me and to my wife to sit with our 2 boys. You know what? I'm not going to answer the phone. It's my responsibility. And a few months later, I spoke to him after that call. He said, Carla, you changed my family's life. I said, I did? How did I do that? He said, because it's our time. It's precious. I said, did I really? He said, well, no. It's because I made the decision for my life. That's taking personal responsibility. That's being able to own your own power and not expecting the organization to have some kind of sense that we need to have this personal time and we need to be able to say, oh, yeah, all of our employees are precious and we're not going to call at certain times. Yeah, that would be great, but a lot of times it doesn't happen. But he decided to take personal responsibility for his life along with his wife and for their family. And it changed their life. He felt free that, you know what, this is our time and no one can stand against it. It's just us. So that's what I'm going to share. I'm going to share about personal responsibility, and I'll be glad to have you all attend. It should be a fabulous time. And I don't want to take up too much of the time because I would like to hear from Miss Ash. Miss Ash, please share. This is after Miss Elaine and Jasper and myself. I'd like to hear a bit about what you're going to share next week. And I believe you're going to share on the first day.
On the first day, yes.
On the first day. Okay,
Yes.
ma'am, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah. No, that was a really powerful story that you said, Carla. And it is just so relatable. I think it was pretty much, I could see myself feeling and going through the same motions as, the character in the story that you were mentioning, which is so true. And it happens to all of us, right? And I do feel that your topic is going to be super, super important. I'm looking forward to your session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, happy to share a little bit about what I would be talking on. I think it is definitely tying very closely with some of the topics that we've already spoken, whether it is, we did talk about influencing without the title, influencing without authority. And the LeBron James story, shows that we don't need to have like a formal title to make an impact. So my talk is titled as Invisible to Influential. And it is going to be very, I would say, closely relatable to that theme of how to influence without title or authority. And what I plan to do in this session is to share a lot of personal and professional stories of my own journey from being invisible and non-existent in a team to rising to a influential position and making an impact, right? So it's going to be both personal and professional. And why I'm passionate about this, it goes back to, I would say, like my roots, my upbringing. I was brought up in an environment where, we were told, pretty much, I was brought up in a very conservative middle-class family back in India. So it is like, okay, you do your work, keep your head down and, don't worry about other stuff and make sure that you do a good job and everything else will follow, right? Like the success, the titles, the recognition will follow. And that was the thought process. And that was the, mindset that I had for a very long time. And it took me a long time to realize that just talent or hard work is not enough. Who is seeing your hard work? And like, are you being seen and heard in the workplace by the people who matter? And are people talking about it? Are people vouching for you when you're not in the room? All of that is going to be as important as doing a good job yourself as well. So that would be the theme of my session. So it's mainly intended for, I would say, like high performers, like rock stars on the team, who do a fantabulous job, but who don't really speak up and who don't really showcase their impact, but they're doing the work in the background.
Yeah.
The session will provide with practical tools and strategies of how to make your voice heard in the workplace. So that's what I will be talking about.
Okay, fabulous. Well, we're at the end of our show. Ash, do you have any closing words before we sign off?
Closing words, definitely want to thank everybody, thanks to our speakers who came in and gave us an overview of what they're going to talk about. Me and Carla are super excited to host this summit. It's coming up very soon, next week, actually. Feb 18th, 19th, and 20th. So I would love if, people who are tuning onto this, watching us on social media, we are going to send the link to the summit. Please do register, join us there, and make sure that you register either to access the recordings or attend live sessions as well. You will not only get networking opportunities with the speakers and your peers, your attendees. You will walk away with a lot of digital gifts, which can be guides and cheat sheets and prep documents, anything and everything that will help you to get to your next level. So we're looking forward to, hosting this and seeing at least some of you there.
All right. Thank you again. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Jasper. Thank you, Elaine, for attending. Thank you to our producer, Connie. All right. We're going to sign off. We'll see you next week at the summit. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.